Yeah, I can hear you.
Alright, cool. Are you coacht Paxii on EU West or EUNE?
EU West.
EU West. Alright, cool.
Yes.
So,
I
alright, click and can you see my screen?
I did even record from my perspective if you need something like this.
Okay, that's good. Is that on your Twitch or is it on
YouTube.
YouTube or something?
I
Oh, you sent
recorded
it
on
to me.
YouTube.
Okay,
This
shit.
I record
Alright.
like 2 bad games.
You got 2 games? Alright, send me the other one.
It's a playlist. You can see the right.
Oh yeah, I see.
Yeah,
Tristana and
yeah.
Ezreal. Okay, alright, cool. Fuck hope. Yeah, alright, the settings are a lot better. Okay. Cool. You said you're streaming this?
Yeah, I'm streaming this right now.
Alright. So when I mentioned to you, first off, the hour thing isn't like a hard limit, like we'll just take as long as we need for it.
Yeah. Okay.
Second of all, you mentioned that you would be interested in doing like a coaching about coaching thing as well, right?
Yeah.
So how high a priority was that for you, or were you basically mostly here for your solo queue? Because if you're mostly here for your solo queue, we'll just go over solo queue stuff now.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. I said like I would take 2 sessions. First one for solo queue, like always, and I asked you if you do both.
Cool.
I will take the second one for the coaching stuff.
Yep. Okay, cool. All right, that sounds good. What kind of coaching do you do?
I doing like strategic positional coaching on my team.
Okay, what team is that?
It's like a third division team, but we got like first division roster with challenger grandmaster players. It's
okay.
And,
Do you do coaching on stream and stuff, or
is
it just coaching? Okay.
Yeah,
so you do also do individual coaching as well as like team-based coaching.
Yeah,
right.
I do both. Yes.
When you do individual coaching, is that mostly AD or is that
everything?
Every role.
Yeah, every
role. Okay, cool. All right. So in terms of your solo queue, then, do you view your game knowledge as a potential issue, or do you think you have other areas that you need to improve on?
The question was, what is my biggest issues, right, in solo queue?
Somewhat, yeah. But like, you're a coach, right? So
a
lot of coaches would say to me that their issue would be that they can't process the information in the game as fast as they would like to, right? Or maybe they just don't have hands, right? I assume that you do have hands because your highest win rate champion is Ezreal. And Ezreal is also a pretty good indicator to me, the fact that he's on 61% here, that your game knowledge is probably also doing well, because Ezreal is such a punishing champion. If you get bad resets off, if you do badly in early laning phase, like every time you die, that's lost time on tier stacks. If you really want to be having a good win rate on Ezreal, you can't just be like basing 30 seconds before a Drake or something like this, right? You have to be there at the start, right, to actually utilize your kit well. So that indicates your game knowledge is probably all right, and your hands are probably all right. So what do you think's gating you so much?
I got a friend. He's challenge ADC. We make like double coaching. He coaching me in his micro perspective in ADC, and I coach him macro. And like if he coach me, he always says I'm playing way too aggressive, way too greedy. I'm always not front to back. I'm always the first person in team fights. And it's like coin flip, sometimes it's really fun, sometimes not. And
I think Ezreal's a good champion for that. When it comes to Trist, is he basically saying that you're like Wing and at the start of fights, enemy can just CC lock you for like 7 seconds straight?
Yeah.
Okay.
Even Nico said that I'm way too aggressive.
Nico?
Yeah, Nico the Pico.
Oh, okay. Sure.
Yeah.
Alright, well, first off, we never play Jhin again, because Jhin's just shit. Aphelios is also pretty bad. These are the kinds of champions that you only play if you're, like, already really good on them. I would also say the same for Ezreal, but you are good on Ezreal, so I think you should keep playing them. When it comes to the rest, like, okay, you have picked Varus, alright, and you have picked MF. For me right now, the best 3 would probably be Varus, Kai'Sa Senna, though Kai'Sa's very dependent on if you have an engaged support or not. If you have an engaged support, then you can do Kai'Sa, and you do play Kai'Sa here. But I think for you could probably just pick Tristana in those situations anyway, right? What do you blind pick right now? Is that Ezreal?
Ezreal and Tristana.
Okay, if Ezreal and Tristana are banned, what's your next priority for blind pick?
For blind pick, it depends. If I'm the very first pick, I guess like Kai'Sa. I would prefer play Kai'Sa.
You would first pick Kai'Sa. Okay, that's interesting.
Yeah. If I got nothing, it's like my confident pick. If I have the first pick, I don't play often because I got no time anymore. But if I play, I always play these 3 champions: Ezreal, Tristana, Kai'Sa. If they 3-ban, then I play Samira. Varus, I don't play Varus anymore because I suck. I don't know. I'm not good at Varus.
Okay. Alright. I think I would suggest just dodging if you have to first pick Kai'Sa, unless your support's 100% going to be running an engaged support, because I think if you're not in that situation, then Kai'Sa becomes quite worthless, to be honest. I think dodging is a fine strategy to do until they make it so it punishes MMR. What are you saying?
No, I agree.
Well, so why don't you have so much time to play?
I make like wrong schedule with my coaching, positional coaching on public. I got like really much offers, and I made them like 1 hour away. You know, I coach one, then I coach another one 2 hours later, and the schedule was like, I'm just sitting there waiting for the next coaching. Now I got like better schedule where I do like 3 coachings with like 10-20 minutes like away from each other. If I need more time, then I call it, of course, but
all right. I just asked that because I mean, right now I don't think you've actually hit your peak, right? In terms of elo, so I think you're still not really at the appropriate elo for you. You don't appear to have plateaued. I think a lot of this win rate dropping is because you've tried to play so many shit champions. But if you were just playing like these 2, I think you'd already be a lot higher by now. I think just play these 2, ignore this. If one day Varus clicks for you, then play Varus, because I think he's the best blind pick right now, but just ignore all of the rest of this dog shit, and then we'd be good. Which one of these is the Tristana game? Is it the 14-1-11?
No, the Tristana game is on my Smurf account.
What was your Smurf account called?
XIPIE. I write you. I'm so bad at spelling.
It's fine.
CPI.
Okay.
A. That's my Smurf.
Why do you have a Smurf account? Your Smurf account's Diamond 1, dude.
I decayed on main account. I was like nearly master, and I literally no played.
Okay. And I assume the 12-8-9 is the Tristana game?
Oh wait, no! On my another Smurf with my friend was the Tristana game. Actually, it's fuck. Sorry.
Okay.
I guess I have to watch it. Wait, I have to search the name.
Let me check.
What is the name?
Oh, no name tags, nice.
The name is Paxii XP. Yeah, right.
Yeah, just write it.
XP.
Why do you have so many accounts?
I make an account for my like my best friend. I mean, now he playing. That's why I played with him. Like that's the account.
I mean, you already don't have much time, and you are running 3 accounts at once.
4 accounts.
You're running 4 accounts?
Yeah, I got like 2 accounts of friends. I don't know. I always play with friends if I play.
I mean, what am I gonna say to that?
I don't know.
I mean, if you want to be climbing on any of these accounts and start getting to an elo where you're actually going to be challenged, how the fuck are you going to do that when you're spreading your games across 4 with minimal time? Right?
Yeah, that's right. That's absolutely
right. You're going to have to focus on 1 for sure. Maybe just focus on 2. 1 where you play with your friends and just chill. And I think on this account, you should try to practice new champions. Like this could be your Varus account, the one that you play on with your friend, right? But have 1 climbing account. Is your schedule at the point where you can actually have a portion of the day you set aside to climb, or
Yeah.
So
I try it at the moment.
doing at least 4 games on your climbing account would be good. And I think setting that as a habit with 30-minute breaks in between games is a good thing to do. And spending those 30 minutes going over your laning phase would be really good as well. But what I'm going to be frustrated with when I look at these games is that there's definitely going to be an element of you're not being tested on things you probably should be being tested on right now, because you're not playing at the peak elo that you should be, and that's not because you're too aggressive or anything. You're not playing enough on any account. So just have one where you do start to grind games on it, and if you need a break after like 3 games because you're tilted or something, just go on your Smurf account with your friend and just play Varus or something. But really, like, I don't like it when I meet someone where it's like, you do just need to play more games, but you are playing enough games, you're just spreading them out like fuck. So that's quite funny. This is a Trist game then? 7-10-3?
Yes.
I assume this is just Smurf queue.
No, it's not. It was like, I was like really hard trying to find like footage, like for you to find footage where I misplay. And it was really hard. Then my friend said, okay, it's I play set, then yeah, my biggest habit exists then. Like, he played first time set, but I was like brain dead this game. I don't know.
Would you say this game is at all representative of how you normally play?
No, but if I'm like autopiloting, like if I don't concentrate, then I'm playing like this.
Okay.
100%. If I don't focus.
And where's the Ezreal game from? Is it also
it's on my main. I guess it's from my main. I don't know, to be honest. No, it's on my CPI. Yeah, it's on my CPI. I played on CPI.
Played it on CPI.
Yeah, that's the Ezreal game. Yeah. I guess it was the losing game. I lose with Right, I look myself. Man, I'm so sorry, dude. I'm really sorry.
It's fine. This is kind of funny, to be honest.
Yeah. It can be on my main account. I'm not sure. It was like hard losing game. I guess it was on my main, I guess.
I need to wait for...
Yeah, it was on my main, coacht Paxii.
Okay, it was on your main.
Yeah. Yeah, the 2-2-2 game.
The 2-2-2 in 22 minutes game.
Yeah.
Alright, okay. Oh my god, what the fuck? Alright, I think we can just go over this game then.
This game
and
was
then...
a good game, yeah.
Yeah, and then if we have time, we'll go over some of the Tristana game as well, because it sounds to me like the Tristana game, you were like purposefully trying to int or something. I'm not quite sure. Like, what's so significant about your friend playing set? Is he just absolutely dog shit on set, or what?
He's a guy, but pretending like an eagle. You know, he's just playing Jenna. I don't know.
You made a situation where you're playing 1v2 in lane.
Yeah, but he's actually good at Jenna. He's like plat, but he's really good because he following everything like the tornadoes.
So I'm not looking at that game. We'll see. Yeah. We'll get on to it.
Yeah, I was not even sure it was Veigar V2 or just a fake of Veigar, because one of his account was Veigar. I know. But
Veigar is not Veigar V2, I'm pretty sure. Let me see.
But he was really bad.
Nah, this is definitely not Veigar V2. For starters, he's actually maining Veigar, and Veigar doesn't do that. So this is definitely not him.
Yeah, and he wasn't really good.
Yeah. There's another Veigar main on EU West, and this could be an alt account of his, but I don't know. And that guy has legit like 700 games on his main in master tier and shit. but it's not Veigar. Veigar doesn't really play Veigar much these days. He mostly goes on his account to like experiment.
Thing I saw. Okay.
Alright. I think that was a good amount to leash. This is fine. There we go. Okay, Q down. Why aren't we queuing at all?
Queuing Veigar? You mean?
So, here, right? Q's down on her, right? Veigar Q might be up, but why aren't we positioning over here to immediately start queuing on him? Right? Like, this is an insanely low-cost spell. Like, it says 28, but it's honestly more like 15, 16.
Because
right? And we get mana flow banned from this.
Yeah, because I always do one strategy on Ezreal. It's always like 90% time working. I stack like my passive, and if I just fail one Q, then I can't stack, and I'm not confident to queue enemies, you know? Because I always queue like minions, then on level 2 I all in with my attack speed. And that's why I queue the wave.
Okay, so alright, so there are two things here. Number one, your opponents have to be skill checked here. You know that Karma Q's on cooldown, right?
Yeah.
And Karma ult's on cooldown. So they don't really have any spells that can outtrade you. If Veigar was to Q you here, right, it costs you less mana than him. The second thing is that you have your mana flow mini game up, alright? And the third thing is that your Q is such a low cost, you should be throwing it on the enemy at any point. Now, when I say that you should be skill checking them, what I mean is that if you walk up now and these two both walk up together, right, then you know you win that trade, and you know that the enemy is going to make this kind of a mistake over and over again. They aren't tracking their cooldowns, and they aren't tracking yours. This is also one of your strongest points in the game, until you start getting itemization, right? But there's no reason for you not to walk up now and Q. Now, one Q won't make much of a difference, except that if he keeps trading Qs with you, he will go and you won't. But 10 Qs is going to make a massive difference, right?
Yeah.
But if you're not even planning to go for one here, when it's completely free, and you can get a lot of info on your opponent, and you're not going to lose any minions for it, and there's no way that they can trade on you, right? Well, which is why it's completely free, then we're not really playing Ezreal, and your issue is not that you're being too aggressive. Your issue is that you jump in fights, is probably what the issue is. But that's not the same thing as being aggressive. This is like a minimal level of aggression that we should be expecting right now. You're even a bit further behind your Senna versus them. Like, if you're here right now, you're actually parallel with her compared to them, and Karma is suddenly, like, leaving Veigar in a 1v2. So there's no reason not to be confident now. She's right to go for this Q, you should Q as well. Every time mana flow is up, we should be thinking about trying to get the Q on them. But honestly, with Ezreal, this is so low cost that we should be trying to throw the Q in off cooldown. And eventually that could turn into a win. Now, there's a factor here that's not going to exist versus any AD, which is that these champions are like, well, Karma's not useless, but Veigar and any AP champion in this role is going to be pretty useless until they get to Lost Chapter back, right? Until then, you're always going to end up winning out in burst trades, in all-ins, in DPS, on anything. This guy will be a big threat later on, but right now is the biggest point where you can abuse him, for sure. The exceptions to those rules would be like if Karthus is in here with Exhaust Ignite and shit and is just going to walk on your face. But with Veigar, he's not going to be that powerful for a while, so this should be the point where you abuse him anyway. That's going to be less true of others, but if you trade this for a Q, right, from you, it's way less for you, because this is going to regen really fast and you'll have mana flow band stacking. But instead we're like queuing minions and autoing them, which is quite weird.
Yeah, I want to keep my stacks, but I know it's like not the best.
Like, look, he can't outtrade you.
I know.
It's just not possible.
I'm like not confident. I don't know. I'm not confident anymore. I would go for Qs if I'm like on my player time, I guess. But I'm feeling like a boomer, you know, boomer.
Like
coach.
A boomer.
Yeah, like I can't. I think I can't play anymore because I only coach and don't play. That's why I'm not confident in hitting Qs anymore.
So you think you can't, so you just don't go for Qs?
Yeah, I'm like washed up.
That's kind of an abstract way to think about it, right? Like, we shouldn't think... Listen, okay, so why do you think you can't play right now? Because what I would say is going on here is that you don't is that you don't recognize the situation. Like here would be a problem of recognition for me, right? Like when she's already thrown the Q, but back up. All right, we move in, okay? There's only 4 abilities in the game right now. One is ours and is basically up whenever the fuck we want. One is her R Q, right? One is his Q, and one is Senna Q. So we're just tracking Qs, right? If they burn any of these on the wave, right, we have an advantage in abilities.
Yeah.
We have an advantage in abilities, right? Now, if all you are thinking is, I'm not hitting Qs too much, so I'm not confident on even going for it, right? Then what our real failure is to recognize that there's nothing that could punish us if we were to go for one, right? Us moving here right now can't be punished by Karma, right? And if it's punished by Veigar, then he's stuck in Anim and we can hit a Q on him, right? So you're thinking completely wrong here, and the issue is that we just don't recognize the freedom. There should be no confidence issue here, because you don't have to be confident to go for this, right? You're just accepting the money here, so to speak. You should feel pressured by the mana flow band being up, right? That's something that you should allow yourself to feel. But if you just have an all-pervasive aura of no confidence that doesn't let you recognize free situations, that's a real fucking problem.
No, right? I don't mean this way. I mean, like, you see my passive right now? It's like, if I just fail 1 Q, I can't all in on level 2, like what I'm doing. Like, I always all in on level 2 on Ezreal. I always win it with 5 stacks. That's why if I go for the Q and I miss the Q, and then I'm like, oh, I can't play doing my cheese, you know. I always do it on Ezreal against.
So you are just really unconfident about losing these stacks.
Yeah, I don't want to lose the stacks. That's why I don't Q on enemies, only if it's like free, you know. It's like 100% free to it. Then I throw Qs at them.
If you don't get the all-in, right? If you don't get the all-in, is the game over?
No, it's not over. I know it's not the best thinking, I know.
Yeah, like this is, you're acting as if this is some absolute necessity that we need for sure. Now you will never hit the Q if you don't recognize the free situation where you should be going for it, right? You'll never do it if you don't start practicing hit here, right? And next off, I'm pretty sure at this stage you can get to 5 stacks anyway by the time you hit level 2. Like, we're still waiting for next wave to come in, and we still need 3 minions on that. So it's not like if you lose that 1 stack that you had there and went for the Q, that you're definitely not going to be able to do a level 2 all in, right? You'll still have that threat.
Yeah, that's true.
I think you might lose it. No, you don't lose it. So now you're about to have it, right? And I think if you hit that, you would already be on 5, but we're still waiting on minions, right? So, like, now you're on 5, now you're on 2, right? But they're already backing off, because to get this level 2 advantage, you must necessarily be pushing, and you felt so pressured by your 5 stack that you ended up in this situation. So here, right, you're about to be on 5, and your mindset is like, on 5 stack I want to level 2 all in them, right? That pressure causes you to do this. You are hitting these like a fucking ape. Okay? Like an absolute ape. Right now, you have won the trade so hard, you could just be chasing them down, right? If you chase them down, at the very least, all of these minions will be able to play out against each other. But already, the wave is pushing too fast. And just dragging these 2 minions will cause it to push even faster. So now, your pressure to hit level 2 on the 5 stack has caused the wave to push so fast that they lose nothing. They lose nothing. If you just ignored those 3 minions there and walked up and kept trading when you're winning the trade, and it should always be a default thought process that if we've already won trades really hard, we can play like apes, right? If you just ignored those 3 and started playing like apes, at least you would have denied this one, right? And that's already 20 gold that we're talking about. And if you hadn't been pushing like a madman previously, right, them chilling over here, right, on your level 2 advantage would at least be punished, and they're also less likely to be chilling over here. By having this weird pressure that you've given yourself, you've actually created a lot of safety for them. They want to farm up until they get items, at least Veigar does, right? Karma doesn't. Karma wonders why the fuck she has a Veigar in her lane. But Right now, you're giving them what they want because of some weird artificial pressure that you put on yourself to play Ezreal like a fucking level 2 assassin, right? Like, you're not Yasuo and you're not Irelia.
Really
and you've just created safety for them, right?
Yeah.
Because of all these pressures you gave yourself. In reality, what we want to be doing at this point is, first off, here, Veigar Karma might have messed up. Because the wave might be just barely pushing into you, right? If the wave's just barely pushing into you, you can still contest for level 2 and all in, with the wave continuing to go in. If you throw a Q here, and they keep pushing into you, do these guys have the pressure to force you under turret? Karma might do with a human AD, but she's with Veigar here. And if you keep pressuring Veigar here with Qs, definitely he's not going to feel like he can. And on level 2, you're still going to have your all in, and they'll get hard punished from it. But instead, you're just autoing like mad, like fuck, you throw Q on it, right? We give ourselves an advantage again. It's slow pushing in, right? We auto Veigar, that's good. But all of our autos have accumulated now. Now, no matter what, these guys know they're safe. After this minion dies, is this gonna die? No. Is this? No. Is this? No. Is this? No. None of these are. So why do they ever have to step up to the wave now? They don't. But this is just the safety you cause by pressures that don't fucking matter. Right? And this should be obvious. Like, if you're Veigar, how happy do you feel? You feel really happy if you're him. Now, if the situation was reversed, and they were slightly pushing into you, right? They'd be shitting themselves.
Yeah. It's getting worse because
and now,
coming to bots.
Look at this.
Yeah.
Right? So now, this will eventually slow push back into you, right? But they are safe for like 2 waves now. And after those 2 waves, the wave starts moving in, right? And they're still here, so they're still relatively safe. So we've bought them like 2 minutes and 15 seconds of safety. That's an option that they have right now. And we're not getting an all-in on that. And all the poke we did beforehand, that Senna did, that we weren't playing like apes on, is now worthless. Your problem is definitely not that you're too aggressive, right? And this is also something that I feel like is game knowledge based. At the same time, it's not like we can just recall on this, right? We will lose minions if we were to recall, but we're also way too early to get anything but like, what, a dagger, boots, like useless shit for Ezreal, you know? We can't even go get tier. So this just really fucks us. If you were to slow push it properly, you could get 3rd wave, right? And if you did it on 3rd wave, you can actually get a good recall on it. But if you're going to push this fast for level 2, you'll never get an advantage on the push. But imagine that you slow pushed, used your pressure, poked him down, didn't necessarily all in him, right? Crashed the stacked 3rd wave. Obviously, Jarvan's moving topside, so a dive is not an option, right? But if Jarvan wants to do a play here, we don't want to repeat play on bot. If we recalled on that and came back, wave would be about here. We'd have an item over, right? We could maybe even go cull, but if you go tier, that's also fine. And we're still strong. He's still a bit low on mana, and we can maybe try to get a freeze here, or actually all in him here, and he has no choice but to accept the all in from us, right? Because we have a full reset off on him. And that also means that if we played like apes on the 2nd wave, right, we could be this low on mana from playing like apes, because we would burn our E and everything, right? And E is the real mana drain on this champion. And it wouldn't matter, because we know we have that recall. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Absolutely.
But so that mindset you have is dog shit for a lot of reasons, right?
Yeah.
Like,
it's
one
bad.
rule you've given yourself ignores so many fundamental rules of bot lane. It's insane, right?
Yeah, I know. It's like I smurf too much. It's great.
Yeah, I mean, I can imagine that if you're like smurfing in plat, that these guys, even though they're just like walking into 7 minions moving into them, right? They'll just gift you the E, right? But this will gate you at like D2 elo for sure, or like D2 D1. And especially a seasoned Veigar player, it's just a guy who's seasoned at not doing anything for 20 minutes, you know?
Yeah.
This is good, but we're already at the point here where they can just crash no matter what, right? If you ever want to fin one of these waves, the point you want to fin is here, right? This is where you want to fin. Because now if you just let them get in with 4 minions over, including a cannon, right? Then here, an additional 3 will come in, and now it's way too many already. It's way too many. You basically have to fight them now if you want to prevent the crash. That's the only thing you can do.
Yeah.
But because they got pushed, right, they're actually going to get level 3 first. Well, if Karma just did that, see, and now they can step up with the wave, and you have no chance. That will always happen if you get a level 2 crash, unless you can contest them here, which no one can because it will put them into turret range, right? So this is always a necessity if you end up doing a level 2 crash. It's not always a necessity, but it generally will be. This is also something that you have to think about. Say if you're like mid lane, right? And you're playing like a control mage into something like Irelia or Yasuo or Zed or Echo or something like this, right? If you push too fast on second, right, and crash that, then suddenly this assassin's going to get level 3 over you and be on a stacking wave. And now you're really threatened. And now that assassin could just crash while you're playing safe and get a recall off. And if you allow like a Zed to recall on that wave, he'll come back with like double longsword. And then you're really doomed, right? So... oof. So this kind of scenario is really static. Doing like a freeze here can be good if you know that you can prevent them recalling. But you have enough information to know that they're not. This is now a slow push. So the decision here will be what to do on the next wave, right? So what can we do on the next wave?
Slow push, hard push, resets.
Yeah, so, well, we can't freeze unless they give us permission. So right now we're deciding we could either slow push or hard push. What will that be dependent on?
Yeah, my jungler walking to bot lane scuttle, enemy is bot lane.
Yep.
Yeah, that's why.
Yep. So I'm pretty sure our Jarvan's just going to look to reset after he does camps on bot, so we're unlikely to be able to slow push next wave, but that's something we want to bear in mind right now. If these guys don't give us permission, then we just want to hard push on next wave.
Yeah.
Now our Jarvan's realize that there's Zal's here. Veigar's basically but we are also basically now.
Yeah, I have to use my E because I missed position.
But now we want to be hard pushing.
Yeah.
This is good because Zin's in the view. You should be beelining this way right now. So Veigar it doesn't have the ability to cage you, right? But Karma really entered by moving up like this. She should really be in a 1v2 position here. But you move left instead of right. You guys could basically both be going on Karma right now, or you could be trading on Veigar, because Veigar is basically any ability that he uses is going to be his last ability now.
Yeah.
Now you should just feel really confident stepping up and contesting Veigar. But we're not, for some reason. Like, I don't understand why this guy isn't being queued. Like, this whole period here, Karma can't get in range of you, right? And you can constantly queue him and never be traded back on. You have so many pressures. You have so many pressures to do it, right? Like, you had mana flow banned. You want to get your POM stacking. There's no reason to me why this guy shouldn't be being queued. Right? He's also fucked it up. He's fucked up the wave here. You're kind of playing like Ezreal's Tristana, I just realized. You're thinking of him as like all in.
Yeah.
Okay, you basically have to try pushing on next wave. If you stay for another, right, it's really easy to you out and freeze. Okay, this is good. Now we have permission to slow push another one. But only because of Jarvan. Please, man. He's begging for it, man. He's begging for these queues, man.
Yeah, it's right.
They are begging for it. Yeah. If imagine you go over here and these guys start running at you, they just die to Jarvan, right? Like you can do these decisions now. If both of you guys trade like apes, the winner is whichever jungler responds first, right? Like it doesn't matter if you technically lose those trades. Maybe you move over there and they think you're in sync, right? That's perfectly fucking fine because Jarvan's just gonna EQ out.
I just need to E in, right?
Yeah, he's just begging for it, man.
Yeah.
Like, you could just Q him here, right? QW, and if he decides to stay, just E over, right? Like, he's begging for anything, man. He's just begging. Zin's even like, thank you. Zin's even like on your map. You should just recall on this. Just E away and recall. Just E away and recall. You can't stay another. You can't stay another wave, so you're not bothered about your E vanishing, right? And it's taken us 6 minutes to get this tier. We could basically get this tier at level 3 if we played properly, right? But we weren't playing properly. And this is what I mean by like Ezreal's really punishing if you don't have good game knowledge. Because what we're talking about here realistically, right, is that we're crashing at about 2:43 minutes, right? So here we've lost almost 4 minutes of tier stacking time. That's 4 minutes later that our Mura mana spike could be, right? That's so much time that we lose there. You want to thin a bit more here, right? These will die no matter what. Okay, you only need 1 minion over to be in favor here. I don't think any of these minions die, so we are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 over what we need, right? And if you want to do the 4+1 rule here, then you're still 2, 3, 4. You're still 4 over what you would need, right? So just you should be thinning this right now. Just farm this, farm this, farm this, right? You can leave this up. This will insta die when the next wave arrives, but you shouldn't be as chill as you are. Okay, this is freezing, and this is freezing in a really good spot. But you already need to be matching his damage, and he's already forced you to have to absorb waves now, right? Right now you should move up. You don't really know where Karma is, but just move up with Senna. If Veigar runs at you, you can do something. If Veigar keeps running back, this is a bit of a dangerous position because you don't know anything about Xin, right?
Yeah.
If we had wards, which we didn't, so here we see Xin moving towards bot, right? But we would use this timing to ward, right? Because we can thin the wave from here and ward here. So we could just ward on this point, right?
Mm-hmm.
And if our Senna was warding this, right, then we would ward here. Make sense?
Yeah.
Because if you ward here, you know if they lane gank, like Jarvan did before. But we have no wards at this point, which is not on you. Okay, Veigar's here. We know Zinzao managed the bot side. I'm pretty sure him and Karma are on this, right? If you had a ward here, you would know for a fact if Veigar was just trolling right now, right? So on that basis, you might have all-in'd him, right? Especially if we knew Karma was coming from here. So those wards are really good to remember. Drag your camera down. I don't actually see what Senna's doing, right? If Senna's moving this way, then you're fine doing what you're doing now, right? If Senna's not moving this way and is moving up, it might be worth trying to E towards, right? But we didn't know what Senna's decision was. Hop, hop. Yes. See, now you feel like you can Q. There's nothing you can do there. Do you win a 1v1 on a Veigar here?
Of course.
Does he have E up? Does he have W up? Does he have anything? He has nothing, right? No. Like, at this point here, you just fucking E and auto Q him, right? Just throw everything on him. He's running it here. Like, the moment Karma did this, she just betrayed Veigar's HP.
No.
Right? If you can force him off here, that's really good, because your Jarvan's on top side. But you need any area that you can to chunk him now. Why? Because our wave has to necessarily move into them. And we're not going to be able to crash unless we can threaten them, right? So if you drop his HP here, right, and you will chunk him to here if you were to all-in him right now, right? If you chunk him here, then it makes it way easier when we're up here in the future to try to secure a hard push. Because Ezreal will be Veigar will be shitting himself back here.
Yeah.
But you need to open that up for you now, right? But now you're doing it when his cooldowns are up again, and he's a bit safer because you don't know if Karma just like stopped here and could be zooming back, right? At the very least, she has no way. But she could have been there and just queued you through. But you don't know. You would have gotten a lot more on him. So now you know Karma's shit. If you go on him now and Karma keeps going, you can just chase him all the way back, right? Otherwise, you obviously react if Karma appears. Cool. But you start it here and you only get that. Whereas if you start it here, you can chunk him way harder. Okay. That W was really good for us, though. Yep, that's really good recognition there. That's really good recognition.
Yikes.
You were in the same situation before with Karma inting. Just obviously Karma was a bit closer when she was inting. But it's good that you recognized when she was there that Veigar's just inting by moving up. And also our ward earlier would have given the information to know if Veigar was inting when he was moving up there.
Yeah.
It's fine. You need to recall. So, Eing was good.
I guess this was the throw.
I mean, the only thing that I would say is Ezreal a melee champion now, right? Like, we can clear minions from like back here right now, you know. But you do need to clear minions. So, let me just see what we're like here. This is fine.
Yeah,
Actually, I think you could have just left the wave.
Yes.
Yeah, you could just leave wave here. You can just leave wave.
It's stacked.
Just leave the wave and recall. Just ping her off.
No.
Yeah, the wave's moving into you. So actually here, I don't think that you need to crash.
Yeah, it's stacked. It's stacked. Anyways, it's moving to me. That's,
yeah.
No.
So
yeah,
you can just recall here.
I should just go base. This is the biggest role. I guess it's one of the reasons why we lost this game.
Yeah. But here you can also see why I'm not rank 1 all the time, because I had to replay it before I processed it. It was actually fine for you. So, and that's like a recognition issue, right? So can I ask why Lucidity boots?
CD boots, it's pretty good if you don't get Divine Sandra ASAP. I value CDR pretty
So
much.
I think there's two things I'd say here. One is that looking at the VOD, have Karma Qs actually being an issue for you?
Not really.
No. What has been an issue for you?
Veigar.
Yeah, Veigar's
Veigar
ease,
push.
right? So when Veigar hits E on you and all-ins you, and this is going to be the point at which you'll start doing it, I do think HP is pretty valuable. So going Kindle Gem might have been more advisable. If Karma was playing like a human, I think you go Lucidity every time because you need the MS. And there's an argument that the MS helps you around Veigar cage. But I think if the thing that you're more worried about is going to be all-ins by the enemy, you go Kindle Gem every time. Lucidity's fine here. And again, if Karma's playing human, it's good. And last thing... No, you diddy. You diddy. Okay, we're all fine. Yeah, run him down. Run him the fuck down. Yeah. This kind of all-in is my concern right now. But Karma's doing what she's been doing all game, which is just abandoning Veigar. So, I'm a bit less worried about a poke or something. This is good. Yep, and just recall. Again, like, you really need to get in the habit of Eing to recall, because you should already be in base by now. But you just seem to want to save 90 mana when we're, you know, not gonna be here. I mean, selling this for a Kindle Gem is fine if this isn't really serving you. And again, we're more worried about all-ins than poke. Make sense?
Yeah.
We should be more worried about poke, but we've seen how Karma's playing the whole game. Yeah, we got no real choice here. And we already have a ward here, so... Look at Sion, right? we could see this movement happening really early, right? So here, if we do kind of force their stay, that's good.
What do you mean?
So you see the movement from mid?
Yeah.
Right? What don't you want to happen here?
That they're saying about...
You don't want them to push and leave.
Yes.
You want them to stay, right? At the very least, if you move up here, right? Just try to sidestep her, obviously. But if she thinks she can go for a Q on you, she will, right? So here, we can already just click back, right? The E will be off, all right? Make sure we don't go here. Just still play around here. Just be a tasty bait for them, right? That's more than enough. Because you don't want them to just move back thinking there's nothing to stay for here. They might forget about the map if they move up, right? And they have been inting the whole game. So if you move up, they might think they can just get additional poke on you, and that's good. Even if you get chunked, that's fine if these guys are moving in. Don't get all in by Veigar, and you're fine, right?
Yeah.
But here, you just kind of let them go. Alright. Please move camera up a bit. I don't need to see this. I can barely see what's happening. I can just about see that Siam's getting chunked to shit. This Veigar shouldn't be allowed to do what he's doing. At the very least, Veigar should get chunked for this.
Yeah. I was like... The Cyan roam wasn't good for me because Sinso was anyway spot. And Cyan got no ultimate. That's why I was not backing.
Yeah, Cyan ult's pretty into actually. I didn't even realize that.
Yeah. And he was like, yeah, I guess my chat is disabled, but he wants a troll because he wants to roam without ultimate. I guess it's like inting. Anyway,
yeah, it's
griefing.
pretty troll.
Yeah, it's really griefing. That you see, he's like really griefing.
Huh? This is good fight. I hate Zin's passive, but you could even like E in here, right, and be in his ult, and it's fine. They'd already burned cage and everything, right? So you knew you were safe here. So this is again not me thinking that you're playing like too aggressive or something. You know, that everything is kind of free. It's really easy to have a checklist of the things that we need our E to avoid, right? But Zinzel's already burned his gap closes and is in the fight, right? Veigar's already burnt his E. She's already burnt her W. I can't remember the fucking name of it. Right, and this is going to be the next thing we're going to have an issue with, but if we just E over here, we can achieve everything, right? If we just have our mental checklist of the things we need to E all being down, now we can use our E aggressively, right? But this again, we just kind of don't recognize it. The ult was good, but we could have definitely chunked him to like here.
Yeah, I really tried to not be aggressive anymore, like really hard. I was like 6 deaths each game, now I'm like 2 deaths.
I hate telling people like indiscriminately you're too aggressive or you're not aggressive enough because it leads to tendencies.
Yeah, I try to make a habit because you know before like 3 days ago I was like taking 1 W with Kai's on enemy. I was like ulting in, you know, or I see like enemy mispositioning. And I just take the one shot with Tristana and it's like coin flip. I don't know where the enemy is.
Where it looks like to me is that you play very much by feel, and that's good, right? But that you probably stopped consciously playing at like D4, D3 or something, right?
What is the
so for example, remember when you first started playing League? Right? You probably had to think about hitting Q, hitting W, hitting E. You probably had to think about where you're landing with Ezreal on your E, right? And stuff like this. Now, you probably don't think too much about controlling Ezreal the champion. You don't think too much about where the Q is or where well, actually, apparently you think about the Q a lot. But outside of your nightmares, you don't think about the Q or the W or the E and where they're landing, right? You didn't think about your R when you were doing it, right? Because that's all now subconscious. You probably stopped doing conscious thinking at like D4 or something and played by the feel of all of the conscious stuff you've done before that is now subconscious. All of this stuff that I'm saying with like so there you could have been quote unquote aggressive, right? But it wasn't really aggressive because nothing could really do anything to you, right? To recognize that nothing could do anything to you, and that therefore you should try to use your E now, you'd have to think consciously about it, you know? And you'd have to be conscious about it for like 50 games. But after 50 games, just like when you had to think about the Q and the E and the W and the R and what the fuck does this trinket thing do? And oh yeah, I guess I have active items. Just like you used to have to think about that and don't anymore, you would stop thinking about the checklist so much, and it would start being another unconscious thing that you can play by feel. Does that make sense? Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think instead of thinking this broad-based, I need to be less aggressive, and therefore doing what feels less aggressive, we need to just start thinking of consciously thinking about the windows in which we can do something, because there's some overlap where these people drop enough CC or aren't able to use CC, and when your E is up, where you can use your E aggressively, and that is the window, right? So when they don't have all the things you need to use your E on, but your E is up, that's the window in which you should be using your E. And to recognize those windows, you'll have to think about it at first. But after 50 games, you won't have to think about it anymore. I'd rather you thought about the game like that, right? Same with your Qs in lane, right? Can I go for a free Q on them? Should be, my Q is up, and the things that they would trade on me, if I exposed myself to Q them, right, are down, okay? So the thought process should be like, oh, that's the thing that they would trade on me, okay? The second thing would be, my Q is up, so I will position, right? Or even better, position first, right? Because you should theoretically not be punished for going into the position. And then if your Q's up, Q them. But you have to think consciously about that, right? Until you don't, okay? And then don't break any of these fundamentals that you know about when it comes to wave control and stuff, unless you know you're in those windows, right? Because otherwise, if you're just gonna be told abstractly, be less aggressive, right? Like that doesn't do anything. Yeah, like it leads to the disasters that I'm watching. You know.
I know. I'm like the same perspective, but I like.
But you're not doing it, you know.
Yeah, but I'm like I'm testing like new ideas to improve on. I don't know. I'm not like a traditional coach. I would say I'm like always testing something new to teach, like new strategies, and I'm testing always on myself first before I like teaching others, you know.
So what do you mean, like just not punishing the enemy is a strategy or what?
No, I want to be a feeling. No, why I do this like 20 games. I want to be the feeling to have a option to play defensive, you know. I never have the thinking, the emotion of playing or in. Like,
okay, sure.
To play
I get what you're saying.
Yeah.
I get what you're saying. Okay, but that is astro stupid because there's no such thing as a defensive or an aggressive play. There is a correct play and an incorrect play. And on some champions, right, the correct play in one situation, all right, will be to play back and not use their aggressive tools, right? And for another champion in the same situation, they might use their tools there because that's a really good scenario for them, right?
Yeah.
But it's not that one guy is playing defensive or one guy is playing aggressive. They're both making the correct decision.
No,
right?
No, I know.
Yeah. So if you're just so the way that you're approaching things right now in like trying to find ways to play defensive, fuck that. That's just gonna nerf your development. That's all it's gonna do. That is all that mindset is gonna do, right? So I strongly advise against ever trying to view the game like that, right? There is no kind of like golden ticket to challenger, right? It is all identifying all of these small windows and eventually translating it all into muscle memory, right? There's no feels-based, aggressive, defensive, blah, blah, blah way to get around all that stuff. And I think trying to find something like that will just stifle your development in the long run. Ezreal, for me, is an aggressive champion, right? Even though it's really punishing to fuck up on the windows on him. I don't think that means you should play defensive. I think that just means there are more windows for you to have to understand, which is why I don't recommend Ezreal to noobs, because there are so many things to learn to get really good at him. But you are good on Ezreal, and I think you're just going to get worse on Ezreal if you try to apply the approach that you were for the sake of experimentation, right? Like, we know how to get to Challenger. By definition, the ways to get to Challenger are always going to be knowable, because otherwise there will be no consistent Challenger players, right? We set what is the Challenger bar, right? There's no fucking mysterious set of rules that we need to figure out.
Of course.
So, yeah, so I don't think you should stifle your development at all. And I think you'll also stifle your coaching if you do that, right? Because it's not really applicable. You know, it's a very difficult thing. It's not that it's a difficult thing to teach. I think there isn't anything to teach with that, you know? So, that's my speech on that shit.
Yeah.
Is this even a good time to reset? So, when you see Kel here, right, and Senna's doing this, I think grouping mid would be better right now than what you're doing, purely on the basis that all of your teammates are on the map, right?
Yeah.
So I think if you respond to this play right now, that would be better, and you don't have enough information to know that you can abandon your team on mid. Next thing I'd say is that this whole time, after this wave, right? Wait for it. Here, you need to look at what Sion does to the wave mid and what Veigar does. Obviously, the side waves and mid waves are out of sync, but between us pushing side wave, we will always have time to look at what our mid's doing with mid wave. And if Veigar is clearly staying to be aggressive, we know that the enemy's looking to make a play. And if Sion's staying to play aggressive, we know that our team's looking to make a play, right? In either scenario, we know a fight's gonna break out. This is a solo queue specific thing, but you should really stay on the map if you think a fight's going to break out. Unless, right, it's completely pointless because the game is just lost anyway. But right now, with all the information that we have, with how many people from our team are on the map, which is everyone, and how many people can be at the fight, which is everyone, we should look to go there. Because otherwise it will just be at a numbers disadvantage by our fault. So here, we should already be thinking about going mid, probably, if we looked mid right now and saw that either of them were posturing aggressively on the wave. Because if either of them are, one of them's going to start a fight, which means the fight will happen. Same thing with like you wouldn't recall if Baron was just about to come up, right? Because you know a fight will happen on Baron, right? Same thing here. And this is a pretty big thing in mid game. Don't die for it, right? Don't die for the fight unless you know 100% your death will result in a one fight, right? But do be there for sure. Because I feel like there's no way that this wasn't knowable, except that from your perspective, I can't see what's happening mid. But it looked to me like Veigar was being really aggressive with his posturing, and it looked to me like Nocturne wanted to fight. So, yeah. And you probably would just win this fight straight up. You probably collect all of this, but this is quite a knowable thing. I think moving straight mid here is also fine. Reacting here is good. I mean, it's really good with the wave state on bot, right? To just lean mid first and then go bot, because you saw Kel here, so she's not going to insta be on the wave. So you can be here and react in case something happens, right? Which is good. And you would always rather fight here than go for this wave as a rule. Obviously, technically speaking, you would prefer to just collect bot and your team plays safe mid. But given that they're all the way up, you'd always prefer to be on the fight here.
Yeah.
So this move is good, right? And if you're playing top and you're and you need to side lane at this point, you should also always do this move as well. Right? I think you just have to do this in solo queue.
Yeah. I'm like same perspective. If I coach, like it's like competitive. You do like the sideway, but you have to fight in solo queue.
But the reason in competitive the reason in competitive you can do the side wave though is because you can tell Sion to stop fucking up over here. You know.
Same perspective too.
But you can't expect that here. So right now I think it's good, right? Except, okay, waves meeting, everyone's moving in, and you know that this is crashing. If Jarvan cancels this, right, which he does here, we should already start thinking about going here, right? So at the very least, lean here. I also don't understand why we're leaning bot at all, right? It's like the only place we can get aggressed on from. But you should be willing to join this fight. Good E. That's fine. Drawing pressure on mid's fine. Pop pots, we're good. But we're not looking at this is my issue, right? My camera's been staying mid the whole time. So maybe there is an opportunity on that to do something on her. Maybe there isn't. Maybe everyone's behaving like we should. Maybe they aren't. I don't know. I don't know because you don't know, right? And this is purely a camera control thing. Yeah, so maybe that's something. Maybe this Xin Zhao is stuck here, right? This guy that appears here, maybe he's there on like 200 HP or something, right? And maybe it's really telegraphed where he's going, so we can just ult him. I have no fucking idea, right? If he isn't, maybe I can ult this wave on bot. But I don't know, because I'm just camera locked on mid. You know, what do I do with this? You know, I can't do anything.
Yeah,
now I'm just sat here thinking that like there's nothing for me to do, but there could have been. There could have been. You know, maybe we just left this and killed him. Maybe we left this and killed her. Maybe we got all of the farm on bot. I don't know. There are so many unknowable options right now. Yeah. But they are very knowable if we just play a different way. Now we look after the fight is basically already decided. Right?
It's like
you see,
fun. It's funny because I don't know. My habit's sucking at the moment. I never look. I legit never look. I just watching my map and
to spectator mode while coaching. You know. Yeah. You can see everything all the time.
Yeah. I always coach like this style, like this perspective. If I coach another, I like it more over YouTube because of the camera control. But on myself, I don't know, my camera control sucks.
Yeah, I understand the struggle. I do understand the struggle. At one point, I just started playing Malphite and Singed mid because the mechanics are so fucking easy, and Singed mid is so broken, by the way. And it's just easier for me to focus on camera control. Right? But I do understand that this aspect is really hard thing to do sometimes. But you, on AD, like, no offense to your main role, but AD is one of the most chill roles, especially in mid game. Because at this point, you have basically two objectives. One is to make an insane amount of cash money, all right? And the second is to make it as expensive as possible for the enemy to kill you, right? And while you're achieving these two objectives, all right, which is really easy to do, right? You just path according to where the most economy is, unless your teammates have decided to ooga booga it, right? You can just keep panning camera. You're not an assassin, right? You're not permanently trying to look for a pick at this point, or something like this, right? Or trying to set up side waves so it's easy for you to make a pick, or trying to set up a duel or something. You're just trying to make some cash, all right? You're basically a jungler right now, all right? And jungler's just PvE it. You are just PvEing it here, and so it should be easier for you to just focus on camera control. Everything else should be really easy. You're parving, right? So if you focus on camera control, that will just open up options, and you will then start reacting to those options. So just make that a conscious thing in mid game, because for you it should be easier. Because I don't view the rest of this stuff as conscious. Also, it's kind of triggering me that we don't have blue trinket at 9, but I don't think you recalled yet. Please tell me you blue trinket.
What I'm doing?
Blue trinket. I want you to switch to blue.
I don't know. Maybe don't.
When you get blue trinket, by the way, wait, do you seriously not have Divine Sunder now? 1,400. If you sold Dorans, you have Divine Sunder, I think.
Yeah, 700 unit, 700.
Yeah. I think you should have just gotten it.
I guess too. It's like big spike, bigger students. Yeah, that's right.
And also at this point, you'd be on 360 on that, by the way. So say that you had participate. So you've missed like 4 fights, right? By now, you would be maxed out on your tier, right? Imagine that you'd been on those fights. Imagine that some of those kills had been yours. Imagine that some of those fights had also been won. You might be on an economy right now where you're pretty close to Mana Moon, and you could just finish it and have more mana, right? But we're not, because we didn't recognize, and we're not at a point where this could be Moa Mana already, because we wasted 4 minutes not stacking tier, because we forewent basic game knowledge to experiment with our feelings, you know?
Yeah.
I imagine how monster broken you would be right now. You'd be Divine Sunderer and the 1,100 cooldown item. Like, these guys are just pissing themselves. Think about the extra damage you would have done. Just playing like you are right now, with no additions, think about the extra damage. It's insane, no?
Yeah.
Also, we're getting 0 utility out of our yellow trinket. When you get blue, just use it off cooldown. Even if there's nothing good to ward in enemy jungle, even if you just ward like here, at least like a Baron fight, you know you can face check up, you know?
Yeah.
Because it's permanent.
Yeah. True.
Oft, Major Felix mental. Always vote no. sweet blue divine. Fucking
No, I'm thinking.
18 minutes.
Yeah, no, I'm thinking.
This is really triggering, actually.
Yeah, it's fine, I guess. Yeah,
oh my lord, we are all the way back.
I'm like purposely trying to play safe. Yeah, I know. I'm like literally purposely trying to play safe.
But again, it's just a feeling, right? So what could threaten us?
Nothing. Yes, even
not him,
out,
right?
Yeah.
And watch, double please down.
Yeah, and
we could just free hit.
Yeah,
but your brain is just destroyed by centuries of Nico coaching or something. I don't know, right?
No, it was not. No, it wasn't Nico. It was.
Yeah, I'm making a joke anyway.
Yeah,
but this is just. I don't know. Like there's the mindset here is just the experiment's over.
Nothing can kill. I got even my E up. I can't even
the experiment's over. All right,
Yeah.
we just auto this guy to death. If Karma wants to come up, we burst the fuck out of her. Right? Like fuck it. If this guy wants to come up, he's fucking dead.
Yeah.
The very least, we probably burn her ult here. Like this is just troll. Yeah. If I see my Ezreal doing this, I leave the game. This is unwinnable.
Yeah.
And you've gotten to 61% win rates by playing like this.
No. I played like 3 days this time.
Oh, come on!
Yeah.
Oh, if that W hit, I'm pretty sure she just dies. Okay. Yeah. Alright, well, just...
I don't know, they are like melees, they can't hit me, and I'm like hiding backwards instead of left.
Also, if I remove this whole part of the screen, I lose no information. Please drag it up. Please. Holy Lord.
Yeah.
Like, you can't react to any of this while you are locked camo clock. You're not playing Irelia, alright? We don't need lock cam. There we go.
That's my second kill. Nice.
Yeah. Now we have 360. This would have been done at 16 minutes. We might have had more gold. This blue trinket is not being used at all, by the way. Oh, fantastic. This is still fine, because at the very least, we know if Drake comes up that we can face choke, right?
Yeah.
So it's still fine. The fact that these are permanent is really insane. Just every 2 minutes you should throw one out. Even if all you do is cake your jungle, it's so useful. It's so useful. I feel like this game is lost, and I would have picked yes, but I'm not Magic Felix Reborn mental. Okay, this guy fucked himself.
I never surrender. Since the Nico coaching, I never.
We just Magic Felix mental it. I mean,
every time I press no, I don't give a fuck.
It's there's an argument for that on like a climbing account. So like, especially if you're playing something like Ezreal that scales really well, right, and that you can carry most games with, right? There's an argument for that. The counter argument to it is like, most of the things that we did wrong, that when you're going over low-key GG afterwards, right, is definitely going to be in the earlier phases of the game, right? Yeah. If this game lasts another 20 minutes, pretty sure most of that is fucking useless, right? This game is also probably not going to be a win. We're talking like 20-30% chance that you're going to win this game, right? Probably lower than that. I'm going to say 20%, right? Yeah. Whereas you could just queue up and have another game with more information, with more scenarios that you've tested, with more windows that you've put into your subconscious, right?
Yeah.
In the time that you would waste in this game. So for your development overall, voting yes can actually be a really, really good thing, right? There's an argument maybe on your climbing account if you are at the point where you know you're better than this elo, and you know for a fact that you can carry if you play really well, to maybe not press no. But here I feel like you fucked up enough. You should know you fucked up enough that you're just nerfing your development by staying in this game, and that's the counter argument. And I lean towards that. Like, I'd rather that you just play another Ezreal game, try to play the laning phase better, right? Watch in between queues your laning phase previously, and just keep developing. Get more scenarios, more and more scenarios that will help you, and you'll develop faster. And at the end of the day, that's what we want, right?
Yeah, but if I start like FF votes, or if I press yes, I'm like, I don't know, I'm like instant tilted. That's why I always press no. because I don't want to think about the FF, you know. That's why I press no.
Yeah. So whoa, what is this?
Yeah, that's me.
Oh, is this you?
Yeah.
Off?
It's me.
Nice.
Yeah, that's my coaching channel.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Oft Vhagar V2 coaches Paxii.
Yeah.
Dude, I remember talking to that guy way back in 2017. It's so long ago now.
Yeah, he added me on 2018 or 2017, where I was like semi-pro player. But now I ordered coach because I got money. I now just like using my money what I'm earning for coaches. Good.
No, I mean Vhagar V2 gets my seal of approval. He's really good.
Yeah, same.
Yeah. So okay, all right. Do you have any other specific questions that you want to go over?
Like we talk about everything. I got like out of the game. Like question for yourself. You got like a philosophy or like a motto to tell people to improve on or something like that. What is the most? Yeah, the philosophy. What is your philosophy?
If I have a philosophy on improvement, it would be that improvement is primarily habit forming, and that you have to understand that every habit that you form is going to be conscious and hard to do in the first place. So to give an example how this philosophy applies outside of League, right? I have a habit where I have to read 1 hour of non-fiction a day, and newspapers don't count. It has to be a book, right? And as a result, I learned so much about so many topics. But initially, right, figuring out the best situations that make it mentally easy for me to do, like that hour of reading, getting the discipline to do the hour of reading, took a lot of effort initially. But now I do it effortlessly. I still have it as a rule, right? But now I do it effortlessly. In the same thing in League of Legends, right? You have to go into every game conscious of what you need to be conscious of, and try to make sure you don't go into autopilot as much as possible, and make sure that you understand your objective is to get these conscious things into the unconscious, and that will only happen with habit, similar to my hour of reading, right? And understand that improving on anything in life, to be honest, is just habit forming at the end of the day, right? Because development is a never-ending cycle. There is no set of rules in anything where you figured it out. We haven't figured out fucking anything as a species, right? We're still at the cusp on literally everything. So just keep developing habits, and if those habits turn out to be the wrong habits, then we replace those in the future, right? But always think about it as this grind of like consciously improving on something, right? And then turning it into the unconscious over time, but never give up on that rule, right? And always catch yourself on it. And if you start playing, like say you've played 5 games today, and on your 6th game you recognize that you're just autopiloting and you can't consciously keep going on that game, then you take a break. You know you're done, right? Because it's not worth just autopiloting a fuck ton of games. You're not going to develop there, because you're not habit forming in those games. Right, so that's what I'd say. If I have a philosophy at all, it would be that.
Great speak. Thank you very much for your time.
No problem.
And
hope this was useful. You recorded this on Twitch, right?
Yeah, I recorded or even on OBS for me.
Yeah, okay. You can put this on your YouTube channel if you want.
Okay, thank you very much.
And if you want to do a session on coaching itself, I can also do that at some point.
I will write you, of course. Okay, perfect.
Right, cool.
Thank you very much. And
no problem.
Have a good day, man. Yeah, you too, man. And see ya.
Right, bye.
Bye. Wow, good coaching.